Hey everybody, if you're on this video, it's because you want to learn about the sales prospecting process. And I want to impress here the importance of keeping a process in place and the integrity of it while you're going through the sales process. And when you violate the sales process, you're going to have unintended consequences that are going to set you back in your sales endeavors. So it's really important to follow the process. So I'm going to walk through this document that I've created, um, and we're going to go through the steps of the sales process, which are introduction, gaining favorable attention, discovering wants and needs, offering solutions, gaining commitment, and then a follow up. And we're going to start with the introduction. This is how the prospects get to know us. So that could be in the way of advertising, it can be in the way of a cold call, meeting someone at an event, getting a referral, however we get introduced to them. But it's important for them to know who we are, what we're about, what we do, what we represent to some degree. At least they know who we are. Now you'll see the stoplights here, and I do this so that you can color code this and understand that if you've got a red light, they don't understand who you are. You've got to stop and stay on this process. And this goes throughout this whole tutorial. If it's red and yellow, hey, you better stop and make sure they know, that it's safe to proceed to the next step, which is gaining favorable attention. If they don't know who you are and you start trying to tell them how great you are, they're not really going to care. So until you get a green light to go to the next step, and that's throughout all the stages of the sales process, you can't move on. You got to make sure. And if you're not sure it's a yellow, then you have to, pause for a second and make sure it's safe to proceed. Just like out there on the highway, when the light's yellow, you better make sure nobody's barreling through anticipating that green light, or you might get unintended consequences. Well, let's say that we've got our introduction done, they know who we are, and now we want to gain favorable attention. We want to gain favorable attention through maybe a number of methods, but in the first impression, it's critical that we start planting the seeds for gaining favorable attention. So if our first impression is bad, in our introduction, it's going to spill over into this phase and we might have to make up some ground. So that's really important how we put our first foot forward. And then as we continue to gain favorable attention, we need to check the lights and make sure that the light is green before we start trying to understand what the client wants, what they're all about. And we can start to understand, and you might do this by the way of questioning them a little bit, just on a broad sense. You might get more favorable attention than telling a bunch of stuff about yourself that they don't want to hear in the first place. So gain the favorable attention, and then you can, when you know you have a green light, you go to discovering wants and needs. Now it's here where we ask questions and then follow up questions to the question and make sure we have clear understanding what they need, what they want. Remember, people buy on emotion more than logic. So if we can uncover that want that's underneath that need, and then we can fulfill that possible solution for that, we're probably going to have better luck. So, but let's make sure number one here, before we move on to providing them, the best thing since sliced bread, we need to make sure the light's green, that we understand all their wants and needs regarding what we're trying to sell. The next step, if we've got the green light, we go to offering solutions. Now, these solutions should match the needs and wants of your prospect. If those solutions don't match, then there's going to be a problem closing the sale and getting commitment, which is the next phase. So one thing I like to do, and especially in a complex sale, is I will take the needs and wants and match those up with the solutions. And when I go through the next stage, which is gaining commitment, I'm going to tie those together. So we're going to make sure that when we put together the solutions, they match the desires and the needs of that prospective client, customer. After we've gotten the green light there, and we call that maybe a pre-close during a proposal, but let's just say you're in retail and you're selling in the store pants, jeans, for example, and they've come in and said they needed jeans. Well, what kind of jeans do you want? And they've told you, kind of the flavor they want. And so you make sure that you're going to match that style, maybe that cut, certainly the size that fits. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to sell those jeans. So that's what needs to go on there. Make sure we're matching our solutions. Again, offer solutions that match the discovering wants and needs portion of the process. Once we have the green light for offering solutions, now we can ask for commitment. But how much easier it is if we gain commitment on our solutions with no price tag on them. So if these jeans really fit well and they really match what this person was envisioning themselves looking like in the mirror, it's pretty much a slam dunk. Well, no other transaction is any different. If it doesn't match, if it doesn't fit, they're not going to buy it. So to get that commitment, we got to make sure we've done the steps prior to this. And this is pretty much just like, wrapping it all up, putting it in the bag, and ringing it up at the cash register. So we got to make sure that we've done everything before this. This part's easy. The next step is easy, but often overlooked. Follow up once the sale's completed. Make sure that they're completely satisfied. They're delighted in what you've provided for them. And this will give them, many years or many times over the value for what they paid for it. The follow-up is there. And then if we need to improve something or we need to fix something, we have the opportunity to build loyal customers this way. So I hope this video has been something that is going to help you process the sales prospect. You're obviously watching this because you have this document in front of you. And I hope you have some really great results following this process. Just make sure to look both ways before you cross those intersections. Be safe and be well. God bless.